Hey guys, Adam here. Welcome to my first video in the series for Disc Golf Valley Player Toolbox. So I've been playing for a while, and just kind of as an apologetic for this series, I'm by no means like the best player at this game. I mean, it's early in the season. I'm currently #1 in multiplayer, but that doesn't necessarily speak to my skill. That's more just I played almost 100 games already in the past, less than 2 days of this being open. So it's just sheer volume at this point, not necessarily that I just got there by my sheer skill. But I do feel like I've learned enough where I can give back to the community. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Not really sure what the best way was to do this, but I think I found a way. And this is through this player toolbox. So the idea is, I'll kind of show you a list of all the things that I potentially might want to talk about here. So, all right. I think throw-ins have been covered pretty well on YouTube. So I will not be doing my throw-ins and what I do. You'll kind of see it as we go as I do different shots and tap out or whatever. You'll see me throw in from different ranges, but I'm not gonna like break it down for you. Maybe full send throw-ins because it's related to ace runs, which is related to other things in this series. But I'm not going to talk about like, here's all the distances and here's your pullback releases. Just there's lots of resources on YouTube. Stever's got a great video on that. Westy's got a video on that on Disc Golf Valley University. There's lots of great videos on throw-ins. I'm not going to talk about it. So some of the other things that I wanted to talk about, like the biggest thing is, as a player, as you're learning and growing, I want you to know some of the things that you're going to need to know. Some of them will be things that you learn much later in the game. Other ones are going to be things that you can utilize right away. So some of the topics include learning how to use the putting function, and not just using it, but using it to its full potential. And actually, there is a thing you can do within the putting function for navigating around an obstacle, which I'm actually taking away from that putting function video because it's just so big. And so there's a lot more to the putting function than meets the eye. I think a lot of Disc Golf Valley players have a love-hate relationship with the putting function, or usually hate-hate relationship. And I get it's not for everybody, but there is actually valid reasons to use the putting function, I think. So I'm going to show you how to do that well, or how I do it and how I try to make the most of that. Understanding the types of shots and when you can use them. So spike hyzer, flex, turnover, roller, skip shots, all sorts of things we will cover. And so if you don't understand them, that's okay. In that video, I can cover those. Learning to power down shots. So there's a few shots that I have in my arsenal where I power down my, used to be Light Glide Captain, but now I'm powering down my Light Glide Paradigm. There's some power down sample lines I have. There's other discs that I power down in certain situations, power down Rive. So you may not have the same bag as me, but I don't want to make this series about trying to be like me. I want this series to be giving you tools that you can take to your game, and then if you find one or two things, then you can implement slowly over time and see what works for you. Implement as it works for you. That's kind of my advice. Play your game. Don't copy what I do. Don't copy what Reese does. Reese is a great player. He's won Global League, won Worlds, won Global League the season before. And you should not play exactly like Reese does, because that's his style. Unless, of course, that is your style too. But I think most people are trying to copycat, if that's the case. Other things, navigating obstacles, kind of already alluded to that. Distance control. How do you know how far is too far? How does that change uphill, downhill? What disc should you be throwing to make your approach so that you're not going in the water long? So we'll show a few holes that demonstrate that and how you can understand that. And then release angle. That being said, I mean, with release angle, I think there's some top players who prefer to have a straight pullback as much as possible. And actually, Stever did a video on like release angles and touchiness, and revealed some surprising information that straight pullbacks are the most consistent to replicate. So that is true, and straight pullbacks are going to have the least effect on the disc, but there is still reasons to put a disc on Anheuser or Heiser. Then we have understanding stats, playing consistently, and this doesn't necessarily mean laying up all the time. And then situational golf, these are some bigger topics that would be like more advanced topics. Not playing consistently, but situational golf is very much an advanced topic in some ways. How do you develop and experiment with your bag? You don't want to get in a rut. You want your bag to be ever fluid. How do you learn a new course other than looking up, course tips or course breakdowns or hole breakdowns? And then, playing in wind. Some of the examples, if you have suggestions of videos that I could go through, different topics, I'd be totally welcome to that. And so feel free to comment on this video for anything and what you think of this. But yeah, I think this is what we're gonna do. So I hope you enjoy this ride and give me feedback as we go. I'm trying to make things more organized, have a bit more of a script while I'm talking, but I also don't want this to be robotic or boring as well. So I'm a very visual person, and so I'm probably gonna be just showing you things as we go. I don't want you to just kind of see a stat spreadsheet or whatever else. But yeah, Disc Golf Valley Player Toolbox. This is the pilot, not the pilot, this is the introduction, and we'll see you in the first video.